Hey guys, how's it going? Nick is here once again, as always, and we are in the courtyard of my apartment in downtown Guangzhou. And today I want to talk about the one piece of mindset that's really affecting you starting and growing in your online journey. So I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I think there is the whole online business thing. It can be divided into two major areas. As far as I see it, there is the tactical side of things where you learn strategies, how to do it step by step, operational, like the knowledge that you get from actually doing it and how to implement it. And I think there is one big overlooked one, which is the second part, which is your mindset and how you think about this whole online business thing and starting online and, you know, working online or traveling. And I think for a lot of people even, it's been more about just making a side online income or just making income online, and they don't really want to travel. They just want to work online and have the freedom of time, which I completely understand. It's totally legitimate. But here's the one mindset that I keep running into through people that reach out to me on Facebook and in my Amazon comments. It's basically, I can't start because, you know, my product, like I didn't find the perfect product, or in my research, like I'm not sure, I'm not certain how to launch this, you know. It's like these little nitpicks. And I think the way I started to categorize it, and this is something that Rico and I spoke about last night, which I think finally kind of verbalized this idea that I've been thinking about, is that a lot of people are viewing this as like a one-time thing, like a one-time hit, like a one-hit wonder, rather than a lasting process of consistently putting in the work over an X amount of years, kind of like compound interest. Let me elaborate. So the majority of the questions I ask is, hey, I've been looking for this product, or I've been looking for a product using all these different tactics. I haven't been able to find anything, which is legitimate on one end, but at the same time, it's like I'm getting the perception that the mindset that a lot of people coming from is like, if I only just find like that one niche, that one product, everything else will be solved, and it's like, it's okay, and it'll be great. And that kind of thinking is preventing you from actually, you know, pulling the trigger, taking a risk, and then going for it, because you don't want to fail, and you don't want to feel like a failure. You don't want to waste the time that you've put in for this product. You don't want to waste the money, most significantly, right? And so you're stopping yourself from like moving forward. Instead, what you're doing is you kind of like, okay, I've made a list of like 10 products, so let's say I've searched for weeks, putting in 5 hours a day, and I'm finding some, but like the numbers are not right, and like you're looking for that perfect thing, rather than seeing this as a process regardless of the outcome. Where, let's say you follow the process of like, you found 10 products that are like, you know, the niches and the products themselves that look okay, they look decently. You narrow it down to top 3, you find suppliers for those, so you find about like maybe 10 suppliers for those, narrow down the suppliers, and then, you know, time to pay the money, and you kind of get stuck and you get into your own head. And the thing that I would encourage you to shift your mindset is that this is a multi-year process of you learning and moving forward. This is not going to be like, okay, I just got to find that one perfect product and then launch it, and then boom, like I'm making money and I'm safe forever. It's not like that. Everything's always changing. To quote Fight Club, everything's changing, everything's falling apart. Not necessarily falling apart, but everything is definitely changing. And so I want you to start looking at the process of, you know, okay, the first product, you do your research, you do due diligence. Just out of the 10 products, just find one that is not perfect, but the one that you believe in the most. The one, maybe it's time to listen to your gut feeling on this one and just think, okay, this is the one that I really think might work. I'm not sure, but just launch it. Most of the time, the worst case scenario, I haven't heard a lot of people losing money. Most of the time I've heard like breaking even or very slow sales, but it's not as bad as you think. You're not gonna, if you put in 3 grand, you're not gonna lose 3 grand, or let's say 5 grand. You're not gonna lose all of the 5 grand. You might get back 4 grand. So you really lost 1 grand, you know? But what you get is an endless amount of experience. Just launching your first product and breaking even on that, you get an insane amount of experience to see whether it's something that you like or don't like, whether it's something you want to be doing. Maybe you want to try another product. Do you want to keep going with the product that you're doing? So, you don't have these questions answered until you actually go through, the process of trying and starting. And now, 2 years later, May will be this end of like the second year that I've been doing Amazon. I'm seeing like this slow progress, a slow process. And yes, I had a few products that did quite well, and I expanded into different Amazons, and now I'm looking into more and more, suppliers now that I'm in China. And it's, but I wouldn't be talking to you right now from China if it wasn't for me, let's say last year, traveling the world in like Thailand and Colombia and figuring out that that's not what I want. I don't want to be a digital nomad. I want to be living in China and like just focusing on business and just business opportunity. That's where my head's at. And I wouldn't have gotten to that point, that realization, if I didn't move out to Chiang Mai in the first place to be with my friends and wanting to be with my friends, and working online. And all of that kind of started with, pulling the trigger on that one product and learning about it and executing more and reordering. I want you to start thinking about this as like, this is not about one product. Stop getting focused on this whole little, like you're focusing on like a millimeter in a meter-long race where it's like, it has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to find one that's like good enough or okay, like good enough supplier, good enough product, and just get to market. Just launch it. Spend the money. I get it. It's tough, but otherwise you're just going to be sitting there mentally masturbating, not really getting anywhere. And that's probably the worst, because the longer you spend in that little area, in that space of your mind where, every day you've almost built it as a routine where you log on, you look for products, you find a couple for 5 hours, and then you walk away and then you go do something else. It's almost like you've created this routine, you've created this mental prison around, and you're stuck in it because that's where you're comfortable in. For me, I can tell you right now that even if I lost my Amazon store, I lost my products, to bounce back to the level that I'm at right now, I could do within probably 3 months, especially being in China. But the next stage of like building a brand, building my own website, and like expanding it and creating like a real business out of it, that's tough. So it's like, as you're climbing the ladder, the next step is always going to be the toughest thing to do. Like, no matter how much, like, even if you overcome that step, the next step after that is going to be the hardest thing to do. But just remember that with every hardest step that you have to take, every time you take it, backwards, if you fall backwards, is just easier. You can skip, like you can literally just jog all the way through it. Like what I've done in the last 2 years, I could probably do in 3 months right now, So I want you to really have faith in yourself and have faith in the process, and really think if this is something you really want, because it's not about finding one perfect product or one perfect niche and launching it on Amazon and then seeing 5 to 10 grand a month. That's not. I think people are misinterpreting it. This is about like, if you love business, if you love e-commerce, if you really want the freedom of like doing your own thing and bearing all the responsibility. I think not a lot of people are talking about the ups and downs of it. Well, the ups and downs definitely, yes, but man, how anxious you can be every single day waking up just like, man, I'm not doing enough, and it's like putting all this pressure. Whereas you show up 9 to 5, it's very like a you relax, like as long as you get your salary, you don't care if you get that project done or not, it doesn't really matter. I mean, like, it matters in some sense, I guess, as you rise through the ranks in the company, but like with your own thing, especially if you don't have a backup, it's really grinding down, and you have to have your mental health in order for that. Because I've seen some of my friends really, start the process, or like try to start the process, and then really just revert back. Like they just couldn't handle the mental, mental pressures of like, man, what if this all goes away, or I can't send money there, like, I can't stand to bear a loss right now. So I really want you to think about this mindset that you might or might not have. I'm not talking to everyone, but I am talking to majority of you, and you know who you are. This mindset of I just need this one product, one supplier, and then I'm done. I want you to start thinking in terms of, this is going to be a 4-year journey, like a 4-year degree. University maybe taught me some stuff, whatever. But honestly, if any of you are watching this and you're like in high school, or you just done high school, or you're in first, second year university, I promise you the next couple of years will be, and money, monetarily wise and time wise, will be a lot better spent you trying to learn something online and implementing it and starting to create some sort of agency or business or freelancing job out of it, than you staying in university. And I think that's a topic for a whole other video, how I think from a educational standpoint, how useless the post-secondary education system is right now. I think I'm actually starting to see it as more of like a money-making business thing to like in-debt people and, make them stay in like the rat race. Socially, it has some, it has some assets. making friends and like, you know, elevating, becoming your own person, like managing your own time. But those are very minimal skills for the amount of money that you pay. Like I personally paid about $8,000 a semester, I believe. Or yeah, $8,000 per semester or per year. I'm not sure, I forgot. But that's Canada. Like in the States, you guys are probably paying 50, 100K per year. It's like, that's insane. Do you know how big of an Amazon business you can test? How many you could probably test 20 products with 100K, and you can make so much money from that. Like that's just insane to me. But anyway, I want you to start rethinking this. Is this something that you want like a one-off? That's just like, oh, just give me like that extra 3K. Like I want to be like one of those online guys that are like, hey, I can help you make money online. Look at my beautiful penthouse. Look at my pool. Look at my bike, you know? Or do you want this something to, you know, 5 years from now, looking backwards, it's like, man, I struggled and I've built something and now I learned a lot more. Like I've gone to places and I've done this online business thing where, you know, I've met these people along the way, where it's a hero's journey. It's literally a hero's journey. Thinking about it that way will give you a lot more patience. Another Gary Vee shout out. Will give you a lot more patience in the long term. I think it'll also keep you driving forward, like every hard step. Like it really never gets easier, guys. I can promise you, it never gets easier, but it does get a lot more fun. And it does get a lot more secure at some point. When you have, you know, you have a product that's a couple of hundred reviews, you're seeing consistent sales coming in, you're consistently in stock, and after about 6 months of that, you know, steadiness, you start feeling a little more like, whew, okay, I think we're safe here. But think about this as a journey rather than a one-off. You know, just got to get the perfect product and everything's done. It's never done. Work's never finished. You always got to keep going. So I hope this helped more than it hindered. This is kind of just how I'm starting to verbalize it and see it. If you guys got some value out of this, as always, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about Amazon or manufacturing or China, or, you know, maybe I made you think a certain way, I'd love to hear it. I love feedback as always. Just comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.